Sideline Talk Pod episode, whatever. Week 9 breakdown, though. We had a trade deadline coming up, but we had also really good week 9. So to start off this weekend, our brothers up north in the CFL Canadian Football League had a game. It was between the Calgary Stampeders and the British Columbia Lions. Now, this is a playoff game, so that's why I was watching. And I had seen BC jump up to a 2-possession game. And then Calgary's about to punt. It was looking like, all right, game's over, Game's legit over. Calgary cannot stop British Columbia. And then one penalty put Calgary back in the game. They took the lead, but the final seconds, BC won a game-winning field goal. Now, we had seen this exact same scenario take on the Sunday when the Cincinnati Bengals took on the Chicago Bears at home. I don't know how Chicago was up 41-27, okay? Joe Flacco throws an interception. Terrell Edmonds falls down but gets touched by Chase Brown. An initial call was a pick six. That ices the game. That would have iced the game 100%. That was the initial call. Well, he was down by contact. That ended up being, the stabilizer. It ended up being, the game winner. That ended up being, Chicago's winning. Cincinnati's not really doing anything. Well, Cincinnati gets the ball back. They score. Then they get the ball again. Off an onside kick. They take the lead. But Chicago has the ball. They're like, we're gonna try to score, get down the game, something, kick a field goal. Well, Caleb Williams throws a touchdown pass to Colston Loveland. Bears win. Now, where do we diagnose what America's game of the year has seen so far? And it's interesting because every week it's Cincinnati. For the past 3-4 weeks, Cincinnati's been in every single, probably the best game of the year because their defense is so bad and their offense is so good.
And that's the problem. It's that defense. That defense is putting them in situations that their defense is putting them in situations that they shouldn't be putting them in. There's no way that you allow. And I'm not gonna discredit the Bears, but at the same time, for the first 3 games of the season, y'all were a top 10 defense. Y'all were top 5 in interceptions. So how did y'all manage to go from top 5 in every statistical category except for sacks in rush defense? Running defense to 30th in the NFL in front of Washington and the Cowboys? Because the Cowboys make sense.
Yeah.
The Cowboys make sense. Washington is hurt, so that makes sense.
Hurt.
The entire defense on the Bengals is healthy, including the safeties and the D tackles. And then you gave a 1 year. You went through all of that unnecessariness to give a 1 year deal to Trey Hickerson, and then you decided to go through that situation with Shamar Stewart and finally give him his deal just for him not even to have a sack in the season. He has no sacks. He has less than 10 pressures, less than 5 QB hits, and again, no sacks. Not even a tackle for loss. So you're not getting pressure on the top D. Two things can be true. It could be the play calling, and it can also be, but that's what happens when you pay your receiving core plus your quarterback over $200 million of offense. On the offense.
That's crazy.
That's what happens. And I will give credit to but at least with the Bears made a lot of dumb mistakes defensively. But
a lot of them.
They were still able to get pressure. They were still able to get sacks in. I think they got 2. One was from C.J. Gardner, and the other one was from what's his name? The D tackle bull. I forgot his name. But they were able to get at least 2 sacks. They averaged 5 pressures, 2 QB hits. So they did something. I don't know if they got any interceptions that game. I don't remember Joe Flacco throwing any interceptions that game.
He threw 2 interceptions. I just talked about how Terrell Edmonds.
Okay, he threw 2.
This is the craziest part. Okay, the game's 41-27. With 4 minutes left in the game, Joe Flacco throws an interception to Terrell Edmonds. Okay, he ended up. The initial call was a pick six, but he had fallen down, gotten touched by Chase Brown. So that could have put the game on ice. So it was 41-26. I don't even know how Cincy put themselves back in a spot to win that game. They recovered an onside kick. You
I
know,
did forget about the onside kick recover.
It's like
Yo,
they recovered an onside kick and still lost. That's crazy. I remember back in 2022 in week 2 when Joe Flacco was on the Jets. He was going up against the Cleveland Browns.
hmm
Very, very, very interesting. But there was like 2 minutes left in the game. The Jets scored. They tried an onside kick. They recovered, and then they won. And then if any team's gonna recover an onside kick, it's gonna be a team with Joe Flacco. But Joe Flacco though had over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, completing over nearly 60% of his passes. You can't put any blame on him. But that's really gonna
you
wrap it up
can't.
for that Cincy game because that's crazy. But we do have some headlines to talk about. Starter Jaden Daniels out for the season with a broken arm, or the dislocated elbow, dislocated arm. It's both of those. Luke McCaffrey, torn shoulder or broken collarbone, something. I don't even know what's up with that one. And then a torn ACL for Marcus Lattimore. Most of America woke up this morning and saw, hey, Jalen Phillips got traded to the Eagles for a third-round pick. I saw that and I was kind of like, again, that's
Here's
bad.
my take on the situation is, so as far as the Seahawks and the Commanders game, the Seahawks game was what you. So it came down to two things: how was the offense going to perform, and how was the defense going to perform? And what I mean by the defense, I mean how was the Commanders' defense going to perform against the top 5 offense?
Terrible.
And now that Jalen Daniels is starting, and the only reason why they are losing games is because of the quarterback and the injuries. Is Daniel Jones going? I mean, Daniel Jones. Is Jay Daniels going to be able to fare well against the Seahawks defense?
Mm-hmm.
Now we know that obviously he couldn't because the pressure was getting too aggressive.
Too
The only
much.
person that wasn't healthy that on that defensive end of the game was Julian Love, and he's on IR because of his hamstring issue. The reason why we put him on IR is because we want to play it safe. We trust in Ty Okuda. We can allow Ty Okuda to do his thing. He doesn't have to do too much because damn near everybody on the defense is healthy, so it makes no sense for you. You just got to be at your spots. Don't overdo anything. Don't underdo anything. Just be at your spots.
Mm-hmm.
You don't got to be perfect, but you got to be on point. So the only issue with that situation was they couldn't get nothing going on offense. Not to mention the mistakes they made on special teams. Not to mention the mistakes they were making on special teams. And the mistakes that they were making on special teams killed them because they'd allow us to get a touchdown right off the bat.
Yep, first play, one play. AJ Barner, not AJ
Yep.
Barner. What is it? Oh, it was AJ Barner.
Yeah, it was
it was
AJ.
Eric Arroyo. Was it Arroyo?
It
Was Arroyo guy?
was no, it was Torrey Horton. The
Torrey
first person was Torrey Horton.
Torrey Horton.
And then y'all got the ball back, and then it went back, and there was a 3 and out. We got the ball back, and then we scored again to not AJ Barner, to Elijah Arroyo. And then we got the ball back, scored again with Torrey Horton. No. Yeah, we did. And then we scored again a fourth time. Not even less into the second quarter with who was it? It was Mike White, 60-yard bomb. Well, it wasn't a 60-yard bomb. It was 60 yards after the catch.
Kobe White. I think
Yeah, Kobe White, 60 yards after the catch. So it kind of told you like, okay, well, we have the offense that we need to be able to be as better as we can, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, two things can be true. The offense was doing exactly what you expected them to, and being as though what their rankings look like from Washington and how injured they are on defense and how they're not really being able to be as dominant as they can be, which is crazy considering who their head coach is.
Yeah.
It makes sense why that game was that game.
Yeah, that game. No, so the one thing that I could have said would have gone a lot different is if Washington never made offensive penalties, that would have been a shootout. That game would have 100% been a shootout because they were really moving to on fourth down, it was a fourth and short. They took control. That's when they could take controls when it was fourth and short, or they could do something. Like if Jane Daniels could extend the play, except for that injury, if you extend the play, he could really do a lot. But that game was so close to being a shootout. I did not really expect to see a lot. But the biggest problem was, look, Washington has to deal with these offensive penalties. Defense isn't going to get a stop. They were lucky to get 2. They were lucky to get 2 stops. They didn't do anything with them offensively, but they need to do something. They didn't end up doing anything on offense because they kept rather having penalties they turned the ball
Mm-hmm.
over,
Yep.
some bad pressure, or just simply they just couldn't get a completion. But now we're gonna see Marcus Mariota in that Washington offense. I doubt that there's a trade up on the trade deadline for Washington unless they want Kirk Cousins, which I would not mind. But that's
Yeah.
just me speaking. But other news, Draymond Jones has been traded to the Tennessee Titans for a fifth-round pick. Omarion Hampton is most likely available to come back after Week 12 for the Chargers, meaning that could be a big boost. But Joe Alt will also miss the season. Tucker
That's
Craft
gonna
has
kill
been
him.
that's it's gonna kill him 100%.
Mm.
Tucker Craft is feared to suffer a season-ending ACL injury, so he'll most likely miss the rest of the season. And that was gonna be a good. We'll talk
That's
about
a
Green Bay.
big hit.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about Green Bay in a minute too, but
Yeah.
that's gonna be one of the biggest things. Frankie Louvis has been suspended for one game for some hit drop tackle, but he's had 3 warnings already. Now he's facing a 1-game suspension.
Mm.
And Kevin Stefanski has now turned over his offensive play calling duties to offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. Those are
Why?
because they can't do anything. So for starters, Cleveland isn't like they're not winning games. Like with him calling plays, they're not doing anything on offense. They gotta figure something out. This could be it or this couldn't. Stefanski has to figure something out because
What's their record?
2-5,
And where are they placed at in the NFC right now? I mean, the
like
AFC North.
bottom 4. They're last. They are dead last.
They're dead last.
Dead last.
That's based on record and division record, right?
Record and division record. Dead last.
See, why wait till now to? I don't that see that doesn't.
Because they have to just do something. They have to figure something out.
No, like I get why, but like why? Like if you get what I'm because like you waited 5 losses in a row for you to finally make a decision and say, oh, what I'm doing isn't enough to win games. So now, after we're basically already in a bad position, and we're in a pressured position to win more games, not only am I gonna leave the offensive coordinator the job to call those plays, which is something he should have already been doing,
Yep.
but now I'm gonna put more focus onto the team activities more than just the play calling.
Yep.
When as a head coach, that's something you should have already been doing. You already knew what you were coming into when you decided to do what you did throughout the offseason.
Yeah.
You,
100%.
you knew what you were doing. So it's okay, cool. We got Juskins, you got Isaiah Bond. You're not using Isaiah Bond. You're not using your receiving core.
Not using
Juskins is
Cornell
the only one that's
Jenkins.
going off
Not
because
really
you're
using
running
him
the
a lot
ball.
lately.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Haven't
saying.
been
Like,
running the ball lately at all.
yeah.
And it gives a
And
bad rap on Dylan Gabriel when your offense is out of sync. And he's the leader of that offense. So he's gonna if he looks out of sync, the offense looks out of sync.
Mhm.
There's like they're not winning anything, they're not doing anything, so it makes sense. It makes sense to switch it over, but at this point, yeah, why now? Why didn't you do it week 3? You know, when you guys were 1-2, or when you
Might as well
guys
just
were, 1-5, or no, you guys were. Well, I mean,
yeah.
you get the bigger picture.
Yeah. Because if that's the like and I get it, you're not gonna start Shador Sanders because of two reasons. You really don't like him, or you're allowing Dylan Gabriel to go through those issues and grow. Which I'm fine with. I'm fine because you wouldn't have drafted him for no other reason if that's the case. No matter how many times he looks bad, no matter how many times he looks worse, at the end of the day, that's who you chose to be your starter, so you let him develop.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in my opinion, I would think that it would be fair for you to allow Shador to that you would allow Shador to at the end of the season get some reps in and give him a chance to show. But at the same time, if you feel like Dylan Gabriel is your guy, then why are you so more focused on the running? Why are you having him throw the ball 50 times a game? The man is averaging 43 attempts a game.
I don't know.
Just to prove what? That he's a good quarterback? He's a rookie. He's gonna make unnecessary mistakes regardless. So what are you trying to prove? What are you
I
doing?
mean, Caleb Williams in his rookie year averaged 40 yards per game, and he played. I mean, to be also Caleb Williams is like generational talent. I don't understand where all the hate comes from. He's a really,
Because of
really
his
good.
that's because of who he is. The type of guy. You know, a lot of I don't want to bring that up, but a lot of men in the world have this thing going on where feminism is more. It doesn't. It gives them an open thing, so they're more or less judging him based off that instead of his actual talent. That's
Yeah,
what's been going on around the league. They'll post memes about his nails and stuff like that. And it's like y'all too
it's
more
kind of
focused
funny.
on him as a person than him as a ball player. And it's like
It's,
focus on his ball skills.
it's
The
kind of
man threw
funny though.
26 and 5. It is funny, but yeah, like the man threw 26 and 5 his first season with
Yeah,
one of the worst coaches in all of football
three,
throughout that year.
three separate offensive coordinators. By the way, that's the
Worse than the
crazy shit.
Browns.
Worse than the Browns. A lot worse than the Browns.
Worse than
Holy
the
cow.
Browns last year, and he
Holy.
still managed to look average. And now he's playing a lot better this year than he was last year.
Mm. Hey, I mean, I mean, time will tell. You know, he did get that good win. But
Hmm.
moving on, the Green Bay Packers hosted the Carolina Panthers and lost. They lost 16-3. The biggest one is like they lost Tucker Kraft. Romeo Dobbs stepped up huge. Bryce Young played terrible, and the Panthers still won. Now, my
Mm-hmm.
biggest diagnosis was the ground game for Carolina because Rico Dowdle had himself another monster game, around 145 rushing yards. I think Green Bay's on fraud watch. I mean, they've been on fraud watch for a minute. Like even when they were,
Mm.
5-1-1,
Yeah,
now they're 5-2-1.
you
Um,
lost. You lost to the Browns by a point. You tied with the Cowboys in overtime,
in
and
overtime,
you just lost at home against
the Panthers.
the Panthers. Now, the Panthers are a good team.
Panthers are a good team,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna say they're not,
but
but
Bryce Young played
as
bad. Bryce Young played so bad. That was a really bad game. This was
it
like rookie.
was,
This was like rookie year Bryce Young, and we're like,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
still
it
won.
was.
And I'm like, okay, well,
And it's because of that running game and that defense. That defense, I don't even know how they did it, but the defense, I will say that their defense is getting a little bit better. It's either
defense is
that or
good.
they just or teams is just shooting themselves in the foot every game.
Yeah,
Because this is the same defense that held the Falcons to nothing.
does literally nothing. Yeah,
Nothing. So it's either they're just
they
getting it
fluctuate.
off for yeah,
I
it's
think they
either they're
fluctuate.
just getting it off of luck or they must just really be sneaky good. It could be two things could be true. It could be both.
Mm-hmm.
The concern is that D line on the Packers.
And the Packers.
You that
Yeah, no,
entire D line allowed that man to run for how many was it?
it was like
145
100,
off a
around 145, like a touchdown and a half or whatever. I don't even
and I know the man was averaging at least 6 yards a carry, at least.
at least. No, my biggest concern comes at Micah Parsons. We're talking so before this, we're talking about how, you know, good old good old Jerry Jones was talking about how he likes to do his trades for publicity stunts.
Hmm.
But this trade's not looking so bad for Jerry Jones right now. Throughout the past 7 games, Micah Parsons has 20 total tackles. 20 tackles throughout 7 games.
How many sacks?
6.5 sacks. So it's kind of like it kind of balances out, but it's still kind of bad. That's not
I
not too
mean,
bad. Zero like hits or whatever. I don't even know.
yeah,
It's
he wasn't double teamed all game this game either. I watched the film. He wasn't double teamed at all. He had
nope.
zero pressures the entire game. You know that?
Yep. Zero pressures. And not even
Zero
that.
pressures,
Bryce
zero
Young.
QB hits.
Bryce Young didn't even play good. That's the concern. Like when he doesn't play good, the team doesn't play good. If he's playing okay, if he's able to move the ball down the field, passing the ball, the team wins games.
Hmm.
I've seen him do
And
that
he's
twice, though. I've only seen him do it twice. So
so now you can that tells you that that's not even that's a Packers thing. I
that's more
like
of a Packers thing.
that's more of a Packers shooting themselves in the foot than the Carolina really being a threat.
Yeah,
Because how is that D line so good and you're allowing your rush game has been good all season. Besides the Cowboys and the Browns.
the Browns.
Yeah, Cowboys and the
Yeah,
Browns. Besides the Cowboys and the Browns, for the most part, I've been averaging on average, I think 80 to 90 a game, which is league average. And that's something you can live with. You don't want your team averaging more than 100, right? So
right.
why all of a sudden when you're playing these teams that you should beat, you can't beat? What's the issue?
I don't
And
know.
and I'm not trying to hear injuries because we're all injured.
Everybody's injured.
Everybody's injured. I think the only healthy teams really in the league is like the super healthy teams is the shitty ones.
So, yeah, like the
Yeah.
like the Raiders, they're super healthy. Which we'll talk
Ah,
about them. We'll talk about them in a minute because
yo.
they did something yesterday. They should have
Woo,
won,
did
but they
they?
didn't. But Bryce Young threw 102 yards. That should say everything you need to know. 102 yards off 20 pass attempts, completing 11 passes. Denver ended up getting a sneaky 18-15 win against the Texans. The Texans would have won this game if C.J. Stroud didn't exit the game with a concussion. His week 10 status is in the air, but I'm pretty sure he won't play. J.J. McCarthy made a statement win yesterday with a 27-24 win over the Detroit Lions. My biggest one with that one is he was moving the ball down the field. The offense wasn't even running the ball that well. He was able to find plays with Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. Ended up getting the win. New England wins by 1 against the Atlanta Falcons. This was more of a little bit of a fraudulent win because New England won off of a Atlanta Falcons extra point and they couldn't really push the ball like they usually do. Mac Jones and his reign continues as the 49ers beat the Giants, but it's the Giants. The Giants have 2 wins on the season. It's really
they're injury prone. They're not winning nothing else.
They're not winning
if
anything
they
else,
do,
though.
yeah, if they do win anything else, it's either off of just luck. Well, not luck, but like one of them trap games you usually deal with teams, and they just somehow just win that game.
Yeah.
We don't know how. It's just the other team shoots themselves in the foot, and
Yeah, I've seen
it's either going to be that or. But the season's over. They have too many injured players. I mean, Jackson Dart's still starting, but they can only do but so much.
Yeah. No,
They can only do but so much.
I think that at some point they might rest Dart for next season because there's no point really playing him a lot because he actually looks developed. He looks like a developed quarterback.
He looks really good.
Like he's a good quarterback genuinely.
Really good, yeah.
They can't do anything on offense. They have all their targets are gone. Their ground game is all gone. Well, other than Tyrone Tracy, their ground game's practically gone.
Yeah, and the defense is okay, but it's like they feed off of what the offense does, and when you're out there on the field, 70 more percent of what the offense should be on, is like you're not gonna do much. You're not gonna complete much. But I will say that the future for them is definitely bright.
No,
I will say that.
It can be bright if they add another weapon.
At receiver?
Outside of Malik Neighbors, because Jalen Hyatt is not doing it. I'm hearing that New York is hearing trades out for Malik Neighbors, and I don't think that they're going to really trade him. But I'm hearing that right now, and I'm like, we'll see. We will have to see on that one, but I'm not really 100% set on that one. But San Francisco wins this game, and they're tied with the Rams right now in the division, sitting at a quiet 5-3. The Niners are still 5-3. We're waiting till Brock Purdy gets healthy because Mac Jones is really just holding them off the hump. That's really all he's doing. He's really just holding them off the hump. If Purdy was playing right now, they would have won their last 5.
Yeah, they definitely would have won that.
They would have won their last 5 if Purdy was healthy. And everyone with the brain knows that. But Pittsburgh Steelers, 27-20.
That was
27-20
that was
over the Colts.
Yeah, that. Okay. All right. So the Colts. A lot of people in the comments are saying, and throughout media saying, "Oh well, Daniel Jones is going." I think that was just one of those games where they just wasn't playing.
Trap game.
It was a trap game. They came in a little bit too cocky with it, and I wouldn't necessarily say they were cocky because they probably wasn't, but it was just one of those games where everybody expected them to win. They probably had the confidence that they was going to win. They probably thought it was going to be an easy dub, easy playthrough, and they got trapped. Not to mention, I mean, the Steelers won last week, the week before that, and the defense looked really, really bad.
Yeah,
there was reports of Jalen Ramsey being in the locker room trying to hype the defense up, trying to get the defense going, and that defense is the reason why they won that game.
Yep.
So I still think that the Colts are a threat. I just think that game, them losing that game, because Daniel Jones didn't play great, but he didn't play horrible. Granted, he did have 3 interceptions, yes.
And a fumble.
But,
a bad fumble, too. He turned the ball over.
Yeah, he turned the ball over a couple times. But he still took 325-plus yards, so clearly there's something still there.
Something just off 50 passing attempts. He's still
he put the ball
Williams level.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to beat up Daniel Jones on this game. I will put in the Anthony Richardson perspective, though. If this was Anthony Richardson's loss at the same record that the Colts have right now, everybody's calling for his head.
Yeah, that's true.
They're going to want Daniel Jones.
That's true.
But also, Aaron Rodgers, if people weren't aware, Aaron Rodgers hasn't thrown an interception since they played Seattle in week 2. He hasn't thrown a single interception since they played Seattle in week 2.
Yeah, he's quietly been doing his thing.
He's been quiet. I mean, like, I don't know what it is. He's just a good quarterback. They didn't even run the ball that well either. They were just able to dominate on defense, dominate on special teams.
It was defense that won in that game. Yeah.
They had defense, but they were just able to get first downs when they needed to.
Mm-hmm.
That's what won them the game, when they were able to move the ball whenever they needed to, and that ended up being the game decider.
Yeah.
But not alone on that one. Other than now they're leading the division. But although they got to compete with Baltimore, Baltimore's healthy now too. Baltimore's a lot healthier on offense and on defense. They're healthy right now, and that'll be a crazy 5 game stretch because it's an easy cakewalk. Their only competition they have is Pittsburgh on that schedule.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think they'll still lead the division. I mean, yeah, because well, it depends on how the division games go. Because the division games is going to play a big part.
mhm,
So the Browns is as much as I hate to say it, it's division. The Browns are still a low key threat for them, division wise, defensively at least.
defensively, yeah.
But then again, they did blow out the Browns when they played them. What was it like 31-6 or something like that?
It was
If I'm not
pretty
mistaken.
bad. It was pretty bad.
It was bad. So
It
I,
was
I think
bad.
they can. I think they'll go 2-0 with the Browns. Did they play the Steelers already? No, they haven't played the
No, they
Steelers yet.
haven't
They
played
still got to play
Steelers.
them
They
two games.
haven't played Cincy either. That's the thing is they know how to beat Cincinnati. They barely know how to beat Pittsburgh though. They cannot beat Pittsburgh at home or on the
Yeah,
road. They can beat Pittsburgh on the road.
I
That might
think.
actually be
I
the
think.
deciding factor. That could be the deciding factor.
I think. Yeah, because they're gonna split. They're gonna split with them.
Yeah, they're
That's a
still with
split.
them,
It gotta be.
and they know how to beat Cincy. They know how to beat Cincy. They know how to beat Cleveland, and
Yeah,
Pittsburgh knows how
because
to beat
Cincy.
both Cincy and Cleveland. So
Yeah, because Cincy, all they gotta do is just not allow. Well, I mean, it
that's a
still
fact.
amazes me how they beat them because they it's like Cincy's the only team in the last 2 years since Jamar Chase has been the receiver for them. Last 2 years, this man has put up over 600 yards of offense
Yep.
just by himself.
Yep.
But they still never win games because it always comes down to like a clutch play and the defense just comes clutch. So
Yep.
hopefully this
Pretty bad.
situation, I don't want to say that they'll win, but I don't want to say that they'll lose. And I
Hmm.
say that because granted, the Browns, I mean not the Browns, granted, they lost to the Jets by a point, surprisingly. But they're averaging 40 points a game
Yep.
currently right now.
Yep.
Last 4 games they've been averaging 40 plus. So if a healthy Ravens team cannot allow them to score 40 points and at least hold them to 20 plus. I can live with 20 plus. Then they could definitely win. But if they allow them to score 40, I think it'll just come down to somebody being clutch. And I think the Ravens will win in both games. I just think they'll win in a shootout, fourth quarter clutch type of moment game, in my opinion.
Yeah. No.
Because as
100.
much as I yeah, because as much as I hate to admit it, that Cincinnati's offense is dominant. And
It's
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 that
always it's
defense that's
always gonna
killing me.
be dominant. But that's also
Yeah.
the other thing is whenever people are calling for Zach Taylor's head, well, he's an offensive coach. He's gonna focus on the offense. The offense is always good. They can't fire him because he scores too much points on offense. He can't get fired because they're losing games. Although yeah, they're losing games, they're still scoring a lot. But that's that's a different conversation for a different day. Maybe at the end of the year we see him get fired. Who knows? But the Chargers
Mm.
beat the Titans. Big whoop. But Tennessee actually put up a fight on that one. That was actually a very very close game. 27-20 win with the Chargers. The one game I really really want to talk about is the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Las Vegas Raiders. All right. This game went into overtime, a 30-29 win by the Jaguars.
Mm.
Meaning, yes, the the Las
Yeah, I
Vegas
see that
Raiders
game.
scored 29 points. The Jaguars are five
Uh,
and three, leading the division. Or well, actually, they're one behind. My bad. They're one behind against Indy. Is this more of a Jacksonville's fraudulent, or more of Vegas just had a good week to rest? The whole team's healthy, and had a good week to game plan, and they just knew what to do.
I don't know, because Geno Smith still seemed to somehow shit the bed in that situation. Man threw an interception in the red zone too, and it was I don't even know how you do that. Like, yo, I had to watch that play at least 3, 4, 5 times on all 22 just to see what was going on. Like Tyler Lockett was wide open. It was a clean pocket, and he still managed to throw an interception in between two people. That ended the game. Like that was a
Yep.
game
Yep.
deciding situation. So I think I think with okay, so I think the Jaguars are a little bit we that's our fault for allowing that's our fault for thinking that they were better than what they actually were.
Yeah, because last week they got destroyed again by the
They
Rams. Last week
got
it was
this
bad. It was
void.
so bad.
Yes. They
Yeah.
are not. They have talent. They just are not. I really think it's a quarterback thing. And again, two things can be true in this situation as well. It could be a quarterback thing, or it could be a play calling thing, or it could be both. I still got trust that they'll be better over the years. It's Cohen's. it's Liam Cohen's first year, so I'm not. Even if they don't make it far this year, I
I mean,
can live with it. But at the same time, you're paying a quarterback like
two hundred
Trevor
fifty
Lawrence
million
two.
dollars.
Yeah, you're paying this man damn near 50 a mil a year for the next 4 years, and
You're
you
playing
almost
pretty bad
lost.
football. Yeah, no, you're playing really bad
Yeah,
football.
and it's like I get it, not because Josh Allen's not having the best year either, and he's what you would consider him top two, top three, arguably,
Not
right?
right now.
So
Not this
yeah,
year.
not right now. That's
Not
what I'm
this
saying. But
year. Yeah, not this
overall,
year.
he's definitely an elite QB that you would put, over a lot of QBs on a regular day.
I
You see
mean,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So
no, hundred
yeah, you see
percent.
what I'm saying? So when you look at him and you look at Trevor Lawrence, it's like, okay, but he's been like this for 2 years in a row now.
3 years in a
This
row.
is yeah, three
3 years in a
years.
row.
He's been struggling like this, the exact same way that he's been struggling last year, the year before.
Yeah,
And the only reason why we gave him the benefit of the doubt the year before is because the offense wasn't as good. The
wasn't
offense
as
is a
good.
lot better weaponry wise than what he had last year, and he's still struggling.
And they had
So
to fire.
at this point, and I think the defense just wasn't ready for that. I just don't think they were ready for Brock Powers. I just because they couldn't stop him. The only person
12,
that was really dominant on that squad was Brock. They couldn't run the ball for shit.
12 for 127 and 3 touchdowns.
Three tutties, bro. All of them was in the end zone. They couldn't
And
stop that for nothing.
and Genti even was pretty effective in the pass game. 5 for 47 for a touchdown in the pass game. Geno Smith though 29 for 39, 284, a touchdown, but an interception. The interception kind of shifted ties.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence probably played worse. 23 for 34, 220 and an interception. No touchdowns.
Against a defense that's worse than the goddamn Cowboys. Oh my
That
god.
that defense is not good. I wouldn't put them bottom 5 though, but they're not that good. They're not that good.
No,
They're not a
they're like top 20
no.
max.
They're top at 6. They're in the bottom 6. They're number 6 outside of the bottom 5. I'll
Yeah.
put them there. But that was a pretty bad performance. The Rams though, one thing I will say, 34-10 win over the Saints. You're gonna get the same result with Spencer Rattler than you would with Tyler Shuck. I was beginning of the year. I was really hating against Spencer Rattler. I was really, against Spencer Rattler. I didn't really think he was great. But seeing how he's played this year and how it's fared for him, I'm kind of not. I'm not hating against him. I'm not rooting against him anymore. I'm rooting for Spencer Rattler. I
I'm actually
really.
surprised that they benched him. That's
I'm. I'm.
surprising.
I am very surprised still. So when Kellen Moore was asked about the benching, he said this is it's gonna be for the rest of the year. He's gonna get benched for the rest of the year. Tyler Shuck went 15 for 24, 176 and a touchdown, and an interception. The team just played so bad. They played so awful. 16 minutes of offensive possession. Matt Stafford threw 4 touchdowns, leads the league in passing touchdowns right now, and it's
I'm
not
not gonna I'm not gonna give this game to because it was a light win for them. That's when we played. That's like when the Seahawks played
the
the
Saints.
Saints. Like you know they were gonna win that game. Everybody knew coming into the season that the Saints were gonna be good. So whenever you play the Saints, it's like one of them games where it's just like, all right, boys, let's get this going. Gotta get this week out the way. We got a difficult team next week, so let's just get our shoe bins. Let's try some new shit. Let's try some new plays. We're gonna get it going. It was like one of those games. So we already knew. We already knew. Like a lot of people saying, the Rams are gonna be really, really good because they beat the Saints by
Well, the
20
Rams are
plus
five and
points.
the Rams are 5-3 right now.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like we already know they're good, but them winning against the Saints ain't really that big of a. It's like us beating like
The Commanders.
it's. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to be that guy, but unfortunately, I had to.
It's true. It's true. It's actually
Yeah,
very
it's
true.
because right now it's like y'all injured, y'all dealing with y'all. But as of right
Yep.
now, injury wise, y'all are not as good as y'all should be.
Nope.
So it's they're actually just really bad. They're
They're just
healthy and like
terrible.
just really bad. Yeah, they're just terrible all around, coaching and all. So it's not really a big win, but the Rams are still a threat. They're still a big threat in the NFC. I
They'll
think they're
always
the
be
second. I
second
think they're
in
the second or the
division.
third biggest. Yeah,
Second in the
yeah.
division. They're literally like right behind Seattle and Green Bay. They're
hmm
they're directly behind them, and the Lions losing, and the Bears winning like shifts tides even crazier
hmm
because now that puts Chicago in contention in the NFC. That puts San Francisco in contention in the NFC. The Vikings winning puts Minnesota back in contention with the NFC, and that takes Detroit farther out of the picture.
I think
Um,
Chicago's starting to find their.
Chicago is starting to find their groove, and it's really showing. I think that this will
Mhm.
be a playoff push for Chicago. That's a different conversation for later in the week. I got a few things I do want to talk about, but Buffalo took on Kansas City and won 28-21. Buffalo does this every year. They do this
Mhm.
every single year. They beat them at home or in Arrowhead in the regular season. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. We're
Yeah, I
gonna
agree.
Everybody's gonna get their hopes up saying, "Oh, look at Buffalo right now, 6-2. Tied for
Mhm.
first in the AFC right now. Kansas City's 5-4. They're gonna get a wild card spot. I've seen them get a wild card spot and go to the Super Bowl. We've all seen them
They, they did it at least 3 times already,
twice.
and they've been to 4 of them.
Been to four
No,
of them.
5.
Five.
I
They've been to
think
five.
5. Yeah, 5. Damn, they've been to 5 Super Bowls and won 3 of them out of the 5. That's crazy.
In 10
Yeah,
years.
in 10 years. That's
No, 8 years. My bad.
that's
8 years.
crazy. 10, 8.
Doesn't
That's
even matter.
crazy. Yeah,
Doesn't even matter. Although,
that's
I mean, well, Brady was shooting those exact same numbers. So,
yeah,
you know,
and got 8. Well, not 8, 7 Super Bowls out of it. So that may have
well,
been a
no,
10 of them.
yeah,
That
no,
man
what
7 for 10.
he was going 3 for 5 though. 3 for 5 his first 5 Super Bowls. So,
Mhm.
I although Denver does lead the AFC North right, not AFC North, the AFC West right now, and directly
Mhm.
behind them is the Chargers, ahead of Kansas City. So I mean, Kansas City's third right there, but I'm not really gonna count them out right now. Buffalo though, they can't even win in the playoffs, okay? Because the conversation with Buffalo, it goes like this: dominant in the regular season, dominant in the
Mhm.
postseason as well. They'll be dominant in the
Mhm.
postseason. But whenever it comes to facing a real offense, facing a real defense in the postseason, they can't win. They'll beat they'll beat Baltimore. They'll beat hopefully like they'll get close with Kansas City, but they'll never beat Kansas City. They lost to Cincinnati back a couple of years ago when Cincinnati it's the same exact defense they have right now. The same
Yeah.
exact defense. And they lost to Kansas City or to Cincinnati. So the fact is, and right now, the way the Raiders are moving, the way the Steelers are moving, the way the Ravens might even be moving in the next 10 weeks because they're finally healthy in the past 5 years, I don't think Cincinnati's going to do anything. I don't think they have any
No.
move or any push.
No.
Or
They'll probably.
Buffalo, my bad. Buffalo's not going to do anything. They don't have any
Oh.
push, any momentum. It's just going to be ugly.
Hmm. Throughout the whole entire season, going to the playoffs.
No, in the playoffs.
Oh, in the playoffs, yeah. I mean, considering how these teams are like, oh my God, there's some really good teams. Hopefully it doesn't end like one of them situations where the teams that made it last year just struggling a little bit coming into the offseason, and then all of a sudden they're just dominating. Because the playoffs is really where it matters. The playoffs is really you can be as good as you want and as dominant as you need to be in the regular season that you want. But the
Hmm.
playoffs, and like we keep seeing every single year, and for some reason people don't understand it, the playoffs is where the pressure really hits you.
Yep.
The
It's
Lions are the perfect example for the pressure really hit you. They were
Lions.
15-2 last season.
Yep.
Now, granted, I understand that they were hurt on defense, but
And
they were
then
15-2 with that same injured defense and were top 10 in the league as a defense.
and
And got
and they lost. I mean, they lost both their coordinators, their offensive and their defensive coordinator. They lost both of them.
yeah. But
But
last
that's
year,
yeah,
last year though, like so my point last year they lost to the Commanders. Now, as much as I respect the Commanders, that was not they were way too dominant of offense for them to lose that game.
yep,
You see what I'm saying? And
hundred
they
percent.
lost that game because of the simple fact that they just it was the same thing when they it was the same game. It was the same way when they lost to San Francisco the year before that.
Yep, they just
They shit the bed. Every
mhm,
2 years in a row,
two
they
years in a row.
shit the bed. And they had multiple opportunities. I think the Super Bowl is still open. The Super window's open still.
I mean, I think the Super Bowl window's open to probably 80% of the NFL right now. 80%. Throughout the
Yeah,
next
sure.
throughout the next 5 weeks, we'll see it shrink to 40. But right now, I feel like that's open up to 80% right now. But the team that's like the opposite of that is the Cincinnati Bengals because regardless, if you could put Cincy in the playoffs, they'll find a way to win. I've seen it
Hmm.
happen over the past 3 years when they were in the playoffs. They somehow just found a way to win. They
Joe Burrow will be healthy around
literally
that
literally
time.
the only reason they ended up losing or not going to the playoffs last year was because Kansas City purposely lost to Denver so that way they wouldn't face them in the playoffs.
because
Because
they knew they
literally
was dangerous.
the only team that can beat Cincy in the playoffs, that's how that can beat Kansas City in the playoffs is Cincy, and Kansas City knows that. So they ended
Yep.
up purposely losing to Denver. And the way Denver's trending right now, the way Bo Nix is playing right now, other than yesterday, he's looking like he could hopefully make a AFC hopefully make a push. Hopefully make a push.
If they
I'm
do, it's
not
going to
gonna
be
be that
because of
guy.
that defense and him being poisoned that fourth quarter. But that's if they get. That's if they because he's already had his playoff
Lost. Yeah.
pressure last year. He took his loss.
Mm-hmm.
He made it known in multiple interviews that he's learned from it.
Mm-hmm.
We already know that Sean Payton's used to this type of pressure.
Yeah.
So him having to be able to take his rookie QB there, humble him, learn from that experience, and try to use that experience as fuel. I think that they can make it far. AFC Championship, I don't know. I don't know who's gonna make it. I'll give my honest opinion. I don't know who's gonna make
Buffalo,
it.
Kansas City. If I have to watch that game again, I'm not watching. I didn't watch last year because I know how it ends. The world knows how it ends. The world's gonna know how that game's gonna end. Everybody knows how that game's gonna end.
It sucks because I'm a fucking runner still watching.
It's
Because I'm
it's
just a
just
football guy, so
it's a Kansas City
it's
win 9 out of 10 times. It's set to
unfortunately.
9 out of 10 times Kansas City's gonna win that game. Maybe the 10th matchup between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs is
Yeah,
that is that winner.
yeah.
But like my formula for a Super Bowl team or for
This
predicting a Super Bowl team is
this will be interesting.
is one veteran and one second year starting quarterback. Go head to head. That's the formula. Joe Burrow versus Matt Stafford. Patrick
Mm,
Mahomes versus I guess Jimmy Garoppolo back then. That's the basis. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, the second year as a starter, went to the Super Bowl.
hmm
That is the basic formula. So if there's any second year starter, it's rather Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, even JJ McCarthy might even make a push. That is the formula. That is legit the formula for a basic Super Bowl prediction is a second year starting quarterback and a veteran quarterback.
Okay, so now that you mentioned that, here's my question: do you see any NFC West team? Because we already know that the NFC West is the most dominant division in football. So, do you see any NFC West team making it to the Super Bowl this year at all? Honest opinion. I gotta see. I gotta hear it from you.
The Rams are the push. The Rams
100%.
are easily the push. The Rams are easily the
Yeah.
push. This is legit like a Michael Jordan had his last dance. How Tom Brady had his last dance. This is like a quiet Matt Stafford last dance. I mean
Yeah.
I mean we know he has a couple years left in the tank. I mean we see it. But if there's any year to put all the chips on the table, you have
hmm
Devontae Adams. For starters, Devontae Adams playing top 30 wide receiver ball right now, so quietly. But Devontae Adams top 30, Puka Nakua is top 10, Kyrie Williams
Easily,
is
yeah.
top 10. Matt Stafford's
Easily.
playing at a top 5 level right now.
Yep, I agree.
The defense is top 10 right now. If it makes sense, the most is the Rams. We're
Do
gonna
you?
see the Rams take on the Seahawks this Sunday. We're gonna dive into that on Wednesday or Friday, but we're seeing the Rams take on the Seahawks this Sunday. This will be an early indicator. All right, how good Seattle? How good are the
Mhm.
Rams? Because
And
Seattle's a
that'll
top
tell
five
you
offense,
whether
top five defense. Rams are top five offense, top five defense.
that's true. Yep, 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 yep.
So that's gonna
So
be the
I
biggest
guess
indicator.
I mean whether because we could definitely I could see a split in between the two.
Yeah,
That will
hundred
definitely
percent.
happen. I could if we do go to a no, then that just ooh, Lord, we're dominant. But but to be humbled about it, and because I'm confident that we can make the playoffs, of course. But I'm also humble enough to understand how good teams are.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if Sam Darnold can take that experience that he took from last year in his playoffs and use that as fuel, same way other teams should, I think that he can make it as far as the NFC Championship. And that's just a hot take because we have a really dominant ass defense.
Yeah,
We're
no.
top five against the run. We're number one against the run, actually. We're number one in all statistical categories against the run. Per
Mm-hmm.
carry,
Per
touchdowns,
carry,
and
touchdowns.
yards.
That's the
We're
biggest one.
top,
Yeah.
yeah, and we're top 10 against the pass.
And
Yards, touchdowns.
Sam Darnold was throwing the ball very, very well. 17 straight completions to start out the game. I've not seen that in a good amount of time.
And the only reason why he threw the interception was just because he tried to over. I don't know. I think he just because it wasn't really overthrown.
It was just
It was
it was
thrown
just
behind
quick.
him.
it was just Mike Sankerstone making a good play on the ball because
Yeah.
he's a good corner. Like the team has. So when I was watching the game, like I discussed this earlier, but like my thing was like Washington was so close to making that a shootout. They were so
Mhm.
close to find like a rhythm. There would be a penalty, there would be a sack, there'd be a pressure. Seattle just found a way to win on every side of the ball. We
Mhm.
knew we could have stopped them on defense. We knew we couldn't. So we had to go for on fourth down. We just couldn't get it. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Or there would be a penalty when we did get it. But the thing would be Seattle's gonna win on every single side of the ball.
And
And
that's the plan. We're trying to, because we have the talent. We have the talent. We have the receiving core. The only thing that we're having an issue with right now is the run game. But we're managing it enough for it to balance out everything that we want to do. And we're not doing what we did last year as far as, okay, yeah, we're a little bit more pass heavy.
mm,
Because we are kind of a little bit more pass heavy, but we're not just
running the ball.
shotgun, shotgun, shotgun,
Shotgun,
run,
shotgun,
shotgun, shotgun,
Yeah.
pistol, shotgun, run. Nah, we're play action, two tight end sets, three jumbles, three set lines. Like we're running all different phases of the ball on offense while also running all different phases of the defense. Dom, nickel, 4-4, 4-2-4, 3-4 blitz,
Mm.
cover blitzes. Like we're moving everybody around, and
And
that's
yeah,
how you end. And we have so much cornerback depth, which is why unfortunately Tyreek Woolen was on the bench
yeah, and
because now
then
we
I
have so
mean,
much depth. Is like, how can you not think that we're dominant?
yeah, no,
And
that
we're
I would say that's the biggest thing is like this also shows you when you have a defensive minded coach focusing on the defense, handing his play calling to the offensive coordinator, making the offensive coordinator run the offense. Like
hmm
most offenses who typically win a lot of games, like we've seen with Shane Steichen. What he did in Philly, Nick Sirianni focused on the defense. Steichen was the offensive coordinator. Man, they ran the
hmm
offense. The offense was just fine. They ended up winning, like going to the Super Bowl. When he did the same thing with Kellen Moore, the team won the Super Bowl. So
hmm
whenever you're a defensive coach, you give your priorities to the offense and focus on the defense. What do you think is gonna happen? Dan Quinn did the same thing last year. Look what happened.
yeah, he focused on his defense. And
Focus on his defense.
he allowed Cliff Kingsbury to do what he did on the off. Because Cliff always been a good OC. He's always
Oh
been a good
yeah, no,
offensive
he's
coordinator.
just
Yeah,
not a good coach. It's like Arthur
yeah,
Smith's
he's just a
always been
horrible head coach.
like Arthur Smith is an incredible offensive coordinator. What he does in Pittsburgh
Mm,
right now, or even last year, top 10.
hmm
What he did what we did in Atlanta was so bad. Oh my
hmm
goodness,
He's just not a good head coach. It
not a good
happens.
as coach.
Two things could be
Anyways,
true.
I guess to end on one thing is Brock Purdy was also a second-year quarterback who made it to the Super Bowl.
Hmm
So that is if you're trying to predict the Super Bowl, that's a good formula to follow off of as a second-year quarterback versus a veteran quarterback.
hmm
That is a basic formula. So next year we could see Jackson Dart, Cam Ward, or even Shedeur Sanders go to the Super Bowl. So who knows?
Ah,
Anyways, that'll
yeah,
wrap
who
it up.
knows?
That'll wrap it up for this episode, Raphael. We didn't have Keyshawn or Calvin on the episode, but we ended up getting a kill. Ended up having a nice night, a good episode. That'll wrap it up.